Hello you sexy bitches! I'm Michael Kelton, and today I'm going to show you how to charge your car air conditioner system the right way. Now in the case here, my truck has no refrigerant in the system. It has a leak somewhere. So the first thing I'm going to do is pressurize the system with nitrogen and find the leak. Hopefully it's somewhere easy, and it probably is, because there's a lot of fittings in the engine department that could be loose. So on this fitting right here, before you connect it to your car, you want to make sure it's screwed all the way out so it doesn't suppress the valve as you're trying to put it on the service port. And now that we got that unscrewed, we're going to slide that right on, and then make sure that it's locked into place, and then we're going to make sure it doesn't come off. Then we're going to screw this down to suppress the valve core, and then we're going to check our pressures and see what we got. And as you can see on my digital manifold gauge here, I have 0 psi. That means we got a major leak somewhere and we need to find it. So now I got a bottle of nitrogen. We're going to pressurize the AC system up to about 250 psi and see where we can find a leak at. So we're at 75 right now. Just adding a little bit. Don't want to go too crazy with it. At 236, we're going to just get it up to around 250. Alright, we're at 310, 309. Okay, so next step, we're going to get some soap bubbles and spray down all the connections. Okay, so here's one connection that's it's like a flare connection, I believe. We're going to go ahead and check that. I'm going to use this coal blue. It's a good soap bubble we use in the field for checking for leaks. I'm going to let that sit a minute, see if any bubbles come out of it. Spray this other connection over here that it may be a problem. You just don't know. As you can see, this one has a gasket and a bolt that holds it together. I mean, all this stuff is easily able to come apart because of engine vibrations. So just some stuff you can check on your own without getting too technical, you know. Then we'll check this hose where it connects to this metal clamp. And we're going to let that sit and see if anything bubbles up. There's these connections back here that you want to spray soap bubbles and check. These are on the firewall that actually go into the cab. Just hit them real good. Alright, so after spraying around, is the last thing I thought it would be. It's actually this, and I can feel it with my finger. That is the culprit. So I'm going to see what we can do about fixing that. I'm going to look online and see if we can replace that valve core in there. Okay, so the replacement piece looks like this. This unscrews from the bottom, and you just screw this into the top, and this is the package I got from O'Reilly's, and it comes with some extra valve cores for the other service port, 2 new caps with gaskets, and I'm going to go ahead and relieve the pressure on the system, and we'll get these replaced. Alright, so to remove it, you're going to definitely need 2 wrenches. One for the bottom and one for the top. And then you're going to just turn the top while holding the bottom down. Because if you don't do that, you might break the bottom piece off, and then you're going to have a big problem. So we've got the old one out, put the new one right back in. Like that. I'm just going to snug it. I'm not putting a whole lot of strength on it. And that's good. The old one wasn't even that tight. So, and then we're going to go ahead and replace the valve core in this one. Now, if you're an AC guy like I am, you have a valve core remover in your bag that will work, most likely. If you don't have a valve core remover, they sell them at the parts house for like $4. Yeah, it's amazing. I thought these would be bigger, but these are the same size valve cores that in your regular air conditioner. So we're going to put a new one in. Dang it. Alright, we're just going to snug it, not too tight. Now this is the part where some of y'all are probably like, well, time to add the Freon and call it a day, right? Wrong, motherfucker. This is where we pull a vacuum. Oh, what do you mean vacuum? It means we've had the system open to the air. It's got non-condensables in there. We simply can't add refrigerant to the system without pulling a vacuum. Well, what's a vacuum and how can I do that? Well, this is where you need a vacuum pump. This is my 8 CFM filled piece vacuum pump. And you hook that up to your manifold, and your manifold hooks up to the service port. Manifold has a digital micron gauge. Now, I know some of y'all might have a vacuum pump, but don't have a digital micron gauge. But if you want to go ahead and pull a vacuum, do it for at least 30 minutes or an hour. That's what I would recommend if you don't have a micron gauge. But in this case, I'm going to pull it down to 500 microns. In case you're wondering what would happen if you don't pull a vacuum because you don't have a vacuum pump, think of it like this. All throughout your AC system, you have loops that the refrigerant travels through. And each one of those bins could trap air, like air pockets. And as the refrigerant's trying to travel through bins, it's trying to get past those air pockets, which those air pockets are acting like a restriction. Or I've heard of it actually the moisture that's in the air pockets blending with the oil and doing something to the oil to where it causes damage to your compressor. So it's not good to have moisture or air in your system. That's the reason why it's imperative to pull a vacuum. Okay, as you can see here, we got a good vacuum on our system. We're at 485 microns right now, dropping. Damn, we are good. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to weigh in the charge. So if you look on your hood right here, or underneath your hood I should say, you might see something like this. it'll tell you how much it takes. This particular vehicle requires 3 pounds of 134A. I know it's kind of faded. I also looked it up online, and that's what it is. It's 3 pounds. Okay, so I got the refrigerant 30-pound cylinder of 134A on a scale. We're going to go ahead and zero out our scale here. It's a wireless scale. I've already purged my line here. The rest of the gauge is in a vacuum here. So all I have to do is turn this valve here and weigh in 3 pounds. Well, actually, we're going to shoot for 3 pounds 10 ounces to account for the length of these hoses, because these are long hoses and they hold a lot. So I'm gonna go with 3 pounds 10 ounces just to be on the safe side. So we're at 1.4 pounds right now. £2. Come on, we can do it. So I had to turn the truck on to get the compressor on so we can suck in the last few ounces because it stopped. And so we're going to go ahead and just top it off to 3.10 ounces. Alright, we're going to call it good on that. That should be plenty. This is our pressures. Okay, this is our temperature coming out of the vent. I'm going to rev up the engine. Should get a lot colder. Yeah, that's how you know it's working right there. Look at that cold air coming out. Cheers, motherfucker, and you made it to the end of the video. Please give me a like or subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link to these. These were pretty damn good. I've bought some cheap ones before that weren't so good. These didn't leak. They fit real good. I had no issues with these at all. I'm really impressed. I'll leave a link to them in the description. Y'all take care. Bye.